But I do honestly think he's up there with the greatest in the Premier League with his passing. The problem with me is the rest of his game's not good enough. That's why he wouldn't be in my
Yeah, but we're not.
top.
I know we're talking about Premier League because we're saying David Beckham, De Bruyne.
Yeah.
For me, right, there is no one I've ever seen that can pass a ball like David Beckham can. So we're not just putting him up with Premier League players. We're putting him up with the very best.
I think, though. Yeah, but you put De Bruyne with David Beckham, wouldn't you? No?
It's different. In short range, De Bruyne is probably the best I've seen.
Oh, mate. You got to get off your David Beckham hype. You got to get off. David Beckham was an unbelievable player. Great player. I'm not deploying that. But there are better players than David Beckham in the world.
Yeah, I'll get better players. I've never seen a better passer with the ball than David Beckham.
I think there's been some good ones.
100%.
Yeah.
Short range, De Bruyne probably is better. Like the way you see a pass that no one else see, and his brain is much more. Mesut
Ozil was in his prime Madrid days. He was probably the best passer in the world. He was up there with David Beckham, definitely.
Yeah. Football Feast, this the Football Feast Xtra podcast. Hey, Football Feast, Football Feast Xtra podcast. Playing soccer, grabbing cleats. Playing soccer, time to meet. Playing soccer, time to greet. They finna talk a lot, okay? Playing soccer, get the cleats. Playing soccer, let's get it. Playing soccer, let's go. Football podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Football Feast Extra podcast. My name is Andrew and I'm here as usual with Arsenal superfan Baron and diehard Sunderland supporter Billy. In today's episode, we'll be talking about Luton's first Premier League win at home in their history, Garnacho's stunner against Everton, West Ham's late comeback, and the Premier League voting against banning loan deals between associated teams and much more. There is only one place to start, however, and that is with the sad passing of football legend, ex-England, Australia, Barcelona, Crystal Palace, QPR Middlesbrough and Leeds manager, Terry Venables. He was a bit before my time and a bit before Baron and Billy's time as well, but he's a massive loss to football, been around forever, and the world of football will miss Terry Venables. Okay, so let's move on to arguably one of the biggest fixtures of the season. City took on Liverpool at the Etihad. It finished all square at 1 apiece. Billy, how good a point was that for Liverpool?
On the actual game, probably could have got 3. I think both teams could have won it. So I think both teams, obviously Liverpool will be better going to Etihad getting the point, but I think both teams could have won it. So I think they'll both be probably disappointed that they dropped 2.
Yeah, Baron, what do you think?
I thought Man City were much better in the first half, but Liverpool came to life in the second half. There was a strangely disallowed goal at some point. I don't know if anyone noticed it. Looked very familiar, but it wasn't given this week, which is a bit weird. I don't know why it weren't given because it was given the other week. But I mean, each to their own. I mean, I'm not trying to get involved, but I think probably on that it was probably a fair result, wasn't it? Like it sort of got towards the end of it. It felt like both sort of like were quite happy with the draw. I thought. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That with the goal that got disallowed, it was so soft.
I'm not commenting on it. No comment.
No comment, Your Honour.
No comment. I'll do an old Wenger saying, I didn't see it.
I did not see it.
I mean, maybe you've got to have 2 hands on the player for it not to be given a foul, and that's where he went wrong because he only had 1 hand on the player. Maybe that's where I'm getting it wrong. So it's not a foul if you've got 2 hands on the player and you're pushing him, but if you've got 1 hand on the player and you're holding him, that's right. That's where I've got it. That's the foul. Right, I'm with you. I've got it now.
As you can see, Baron is still upset by the Newcastle result.
Upset about what are we going about? What Newcastle result?
Do you think it should be disallowed?
No. I think there was a similar one, Ben White, last season on the Leicester keeper, and it weren't given. So I can see why it wasn't given, but it is pathetic. It is pathetic, and it is starting to wind me up a little bit now. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I know I was taking the mick there, but I'm not 100% convinced that was a foul on Gabriel. I feel like he is making a bit more of it. But, I mean, the thing is, if it's the other way around and the goalkeeper does it to the striker, he ain't getting a penalty for it, is he?
No, not at all.
No, we've seen players punched in the face.
That's what I mean. So, I think, I don't like Howard Webb or whoever it is, has got to say to these, like, refs, you know, what, like, at the end of the day, it's contact sport. Fair enough, if you push someone over or you do literally hold them down, yeah, it's a foul. But in that instant, he's dropped the ball. It's not because he's getting held. He's dropped the ball. He's dropped the ball.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree that. So I think Man City were very unlucky. Because I think they give the goal, they don't take the goal away, do they, with VAR? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
If it gives the goal, I don't think the VAR change it. Personally.
I think it's very, very soft. And I just want to point out, because I really feel like I'm going at Liverpool fans at the moment, but it's not on purpose, okay? It's really not on purpose. I just want to say how bad Darwin Núñez is again. He's like, it just does not fit.
There was 2 times I saw him go like through on goal. Not really 1-on-1, but quite close to being 1-on-1. And he cut back or he passed the ball back. And I just thought, you're meant to be the number 9. Get at him. Like, you look at like what Haaland does. I know it's probably silly to compare the two because they're completely like, you know, Haaland's Haaland. But, you know, I see someone moaning about how Haaland takes like 5 chances to score a goal the other day. He makes half of his chances, I think. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they're not even chances. Like, he's not even there. And all of a sudden, he's got a toe to it. And it's like, where did he come from? Like,
there was just that one moment, like, that sums up, like, Darwin. I don't know, like, if his confidence it's just been shattered. But he had the ball, and the defender was just backing off. I was like, he's at the edge of the box, he's going to have a shot. Yeah. And he stopped. It felt like for about 30 seconds, and then just played the worst ball out wide to Salah.
Yeah, it's almost like,
and Salah was surrounded.
Yeah,
I
know exactly what you're on about now. Yeah, and I said this right because I was watching this with a couple of like work lads, and I said I think that's the problem sometimes. Like when you have such a great player like a Salah, is sometimes you look for him too much. It was almost like he was already waiting for Salah. Like, Salah, I need your help. Give it to Salah. Give it to Salah. Do you know what I mean? Like, because obviously, I think you take Salah out of that Liverpool team, and they're bang average. You know, they're literally everything Liverpool do is through Salah. He gets an assist or a goal every game week, doesn't he? Literally. Yeah. You take, you know, I sat here at the start of the season saying I'd have taken 150 million for him. I'd have let him go to Saudi. I'll tell you what, if Liverpool had done that, I don't care who they would have replaced him with, because they would have brought someone. He wouldn't be doing what Salah's doing right now, and they would be in massive trouble, wouldn't they? Let's be honest.
Yeah,
they would be nowhere near that top 4 without Salah. In my opinion,
I agree with that.
No, absolutely, I completely agree. Yeah, Pep appeared to be implying that the crowd weren't behind them enough. Did you see him doing those hand gestures? He was also asked about it in an interview, and he said, "Yeah, more from the crowd." I've never seen a manager go at the crowd as much as what Pep does. Like every other week, I feel like he's asking for more from the fans. Like you just don't really see it. What do you make of it?
It's strange. I mean, it's not going to win you massive love, is it, at the club? But I mean, are you going to argue with someone that's won it all and done it all several times? Like, if he wants a bit more out of the fans, you better give him a bit more out of the fans, I'd say.
I can see what he's saying. And I don't mind that, him trying to gear up the crowd or whatever. He shouldn't have to. Like,
no,
but
definitely not.
Also, once, like, if you see your team just win every week, surely it's got to get a bit boring. There's not much to cheer about, is there? When you're just expected to go to these places and win all the time.
Yeah. I must admit, even now, when I go to watch Arsenal play, I sit there and I'll probably have like 5 minutes before the game starts thinking, oh, God, I really hope we win today.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I never know. I mean, I've seen Arsenal lose to some unbelievable teams that I'd never see us lose to. And I've watched us on TV lose to teams where I thought, oh, we lost that. I went all the way to Nottingham Forest in the 3rd round of the FA Cup when they were in the Championship. So we watch us lose 1-0 with Lewis Grabban scoring a goal. Do you know what I mean?
It starts from the morning, don't it? Like you said, you wake up thinking, oh, we're going to win today.
I wake up normally, unless we're playing like Man City or Liverpool, I always wake up quite confident thinking, I'm well up for this. And I don't know if it's by the time I get there and I've had a few beers, if I get a bit like levelled out or whatever. But I do think by the time kickoffs come, I'm like, oh, it's maybe not as easy as... I suppose it's when I see the team. that's when I start getting a bit like, if I like on Saturday night when I saw the team, I looked at the team, I thought that's a strong team. I fancy us tonight. That's a strong team. Whereas like there's other weeks where I've looked, Odegaard's not in it, or Saka's not in it, and you're like, oh no Saka, oh dear. I mean,
But then when you're City,
got-
you must just wake up and be like, oh, City, another win.
yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if Jack Grealish is injured because we got Doku.
Surely it gets a bit boring after a while. There's only so much you can like. What are they actually cheering their team on to do? Because they're
Yeah,
expected to win everything.
I'd imagine a lot of their fans are quite young as well, aren't they? Because they didn't really exist like 15 years ago. So I'd imagine like they've got that issue as well. If you like, they haven't got that history, have they?
And the smaller clubs are the loudest clubs.
Yeah,
That's
because
100%.
they need the extra intensity.
man.
Is it? Yeah, they need that extra. So yeah, it is true. You know, and
So,
their stadium's quite. It used to be not the Olympic Games, but the Commonwealth Games stadium, didn't it? So it's probably a bit of a different. There's probably still a bit of an echo around the stadium, do you know what I mean? Because it used to have a running track. It's probably not as close to the pitch as certain teams are. So not like trying to find excuses for them. Just got shit fans.
All right. So Luton finally won at home after coming so close against Liverpool a few weeks ago. I know we've written them off on this show, but compared to the other newly promoted teams, have Luton actually been quite impressive over recent weeks, picking up some points?
you know what? I feel I should answer this first because I was this way for weeks. Going, they're not going to win. They're not going to win. Not even going to win a game. They're actually playing good stuff. They're actually they've brought in a couple of experienced ones, haven't they? Like Townsend, and they've got Barkley, and they've changed it. They've changed the team, and they're looking a bit more likely. I think they'll still go down, 100%. But out of the actual promoted teams, they're probably the ones I wouldn't really want to play at the moment,
especially away, like at their ground.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them big, we'll use like the Man City and the Arsenals, Liverpools as well. You think their stadiums, 55, 60,000, 65,000 seats, they're not that close to the pitch. I know it's only like a 12,000 seat stadium, but they're literally on the pitch, aren't they? It must be quite intimidating when you've got someone literally 6 foot behind you going, you're a effing prick. Do you know what I mean? Like, it probably is in the back of their mind going, I'm going to launch this at you and whatever, and I can imagine it is a little bit off-putting.
Yeah, a bit intimidating.
But
I think out of the 3 that came up, I think they're probably the ones at the moment. If I was like a Brentford or Wolves, I don't really fancy them at the moment.
Yeah. Do we? What do we think about the Everton? Do we think Everton will stay up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we putting Everton in the relegation mix now, or? Because
I said last week they'd probably stay up. After seeing them yesterday,
that's what I'm getting at.
They created quite a lot, but I don't know. That's so like the morale must just be right at the bottom of the floor at the moment.
I ain't gonna lie. I had that down as a draw yesterday. I thought they'd be well up for it, and I know they created a lot of chances, and I know obviously there was like that goal and whatever, but I just think they're really bad, Everton.
Yeah. Yeah,
and it's got to take it a bit out of you. And like the crowd and that, I feel like the crowd were more interested in screaming at the Premier League than they were cheering their team on.
Yeah, and you could think if Luton carry on a good bit of form, Burnley, if at any moment Burnley could click into gear, I don't think they will either, but they could do.
That was my next question. Talking about Burnley, they had a 1-0 lead up until the last 2 minutes and somehow lost that game 2-1. I don't know how they managed to lose that. Company's got to be under pressure now, hasn't he?
Well, he's got to change his ways, in my opinion. Like, there's a certain way. I get that he wants to play that attractive football, like what Pep does and what maybe Arteta does and Klopp does and all that jazz. I get that, but this is the Premier League. You want to stay in the Premier League, don't you? Or do you want to just keep getting promoted, relegate? I mean, he basically changed the whole mentality of the club last year. They won the league by loads of points or whatever it was. But they've not won a single home game all season. I mean, that's 6. That's a new Premier League record. I find it, amazing that no one is talking about it, right? Or at least someone saying to him, "You're going to shut up shop and try and 1-0 up with 10 minutes to go. You'd have thought he'd bring every defender on, wouldn't you?"
Yeah. So my thing with Burnley is, there's no way I'd sack him. Like, who else you going to get? Someone to just come in and lump the ball up the field.
Yeah.
Sam
It might keep him up. It might keep him up, but I just think you got to trust him for a little while longer. And if you want him to play this type of football as well, you're gonna have to back him, because you can't do it with the players he's got.
Well, they got that new American football star that sort of semi-owns him as well. He was at the game at the weekend, I see. So maybe they'll invest some big, heavy money.
Maybe, but
I would have thought he would have got some of found up some of his contacts from Pep's, got some of the good Man City youngsters in. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you'd think so.
there must be a couple of good like wingers or something that are like on the fringes of the team that Pep would love to get a bit of Premier League football to,
and that would play the way he plays.
Yeah, or ringing up like going into one of the Belgium leagues, because he obviously knows, or in the Belgium youth team, so he must know them. Ringing up Thierry Henry was his assistant manager for God knows how long. He could have phoned him up and seen who's good down in that Belgium. I think Henry's the under-21s French manager now. He could be ringing him up, going, who's a decent. Who got in the ranks over there? Might do me a favour.
On that point, Cole Palmer obviously went to Chelsea, sold him to Chelsea. I'm surprised that Burnley didn't say, you know what, don't just loan him out to us. He'll play every game, get some experience, and then maybe, that may have happened and we just didn't hear about it. But for him to go to Chelsea for like 45 million, he didn't really. It's not like he was like a bit like Foden, where he's been in around the team for years, not starting every game. He was only just breaking through. So it just seems like really strange that teams like Burnley aren't thinking, I'll pick you up on loan.
Maybe Cole Palmer thought he was better than Burnley. Maybe he thought, no, I don't want to go there. If you're at Man City, I don't know, because obviously I'm not a Manchester City player, but if you're at Man City and you get someone like Chelsea ring you up and they go, we'll offer you first team football, we'll play you 70% of the time, we'll double your wages as well, probably tripled his wages. You're probably not going to turn that down, are you?
No.
And I must admit, I sort of thought, well, Pep obviously must not rate him that much if he's just letting him walk out the door to your rivals. I know Chelsea aren't really their rivals, but they are their rivals. Do you know what I mean? They still give him a good game. So I do think it's a bit weird, but I think he's actually been one of Chelsea's best players.
Yeah.
And we said it last week that he deserved that England call up, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
But
talking to Chelsea, they're the next team on the chopping block. They got absolutely thumped by Newcastle, 4-1. What do you make of Chelsea? Like, some weeks they do it. Some weeks you think they're back. They're a really good team. They're starting to turn out results, getting goals. Sterling's playing well, and then other weeks they're just awful.
It's what Barron said last week. Newcastle are a team well disciplined, aren't they? They are well disciplined. They got a good solid back four. They don't press too high. They won't really come at you, and if they do, they'll keep people back. So it's hard to break on them. When they play the Liverpools, the Tottenhams, the Arsenals, when they come at them, they will leave space behind. So the likes of Sterling, Jackson, Mudryk or whatever will get behind and they'll cause problems. With a team like Newcastle and your Brentfords and stuff, it ain't going to happen. They're going to get turned over every time.
And I also think with Newcastle, they have some very good attacking players. So they will cause you problems, like going forward when they do decide. Because they'll try and break on Chelsea, which I think they did. I mean, that first goal, mate, that pass from that young lad, whatever his name is, Lewis Miley or whatever his name is, was outrageous. And but then again, the Chelsea defending, I mean, Cucurella was about 5 yards behind everyone else. Like, you can't. And someone like Isaac, however you want to say his name, he ain't going to miss that chance. 12 yards away from goal, one-on-one with the keeper. Shit.
No.
I mean, Reece James didn't help himself at all. Did you see his 2 yellow cards?
Yeah.
Oh, mate, what are you thinking?
How long does Poch get?
But you got, I've said it, I think you've got to give him the season, at least, minimum the season. I mean, if he can get him going, because the league's quite tight, he might be able to move up the table quite quickly. You've only got to put 5 or 6 wins together and he could be right up there, couldn't he? Jack?
True, but no team's managed that so far this season. I don't even think City have managed 6 wins on the bounce.
Yeah, but we're still early doors, aren't we? Teams are still finding their way. We all know that City start slow and win their last 15 games in a row, so that'll probably happen again this year.
I think this is a write-off at Chelsea this season, and they shouldn't really count it.
Nah,
they need to back him. I hope they don't sack him.
it's a rebuilding block for them, isn't it? Again,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
I hope they don't sack him. I hope they give him some time, see where they are at the end of the year, because he's still got players to get rid of. Still doesn't know his first 11. Players will probably come in. Give him time. Next year, build on that. But they're not going to be in any trouble this season, are they? Like, really?
No, they're going to do better than they did last year, aren't they?
Yeah. Give him the year. See where you end up at the end of the year. Get some of these players through, like the young ones like Palmer and Mudryk and the young guy at the back, Colwill and all that. Let him have a season and go from there.
I do have a social media post. I found this on Reddit. I actually stumbled on the Chelsea subreddit, and I wanted to read this out just to get your opinions on this. This is actually from a Chelsea fan. So this is what Chelsea think of their own team. So don't come at me, internet. This isn't my opinion. So it's, are Chelsea a mid-table team now? We are languishing in 10th, 8th points behind struggling Man United. Defence is leaking goals, attack is largely misfiring, and players are losing discipline. The mentality has also become like that of a mid-table team. Nothing in and around the club screams world-class at the moment. I just don't find many differences between Chelsea and, say, Crystal Palace, apart from the wages and all. As fans, should we also have a mid-table mindset, satisfied with draws against the big boys and finishing the season with 45 to 50 points?
I personally think he's talking a load of shit.
I do. Yeah,
they're a mid-table team. Not going to be a mid-table team in the next couple of years. They'll be up there again. Just give it a bit of time. Like the change you've gone through, you've lost your chairman, you've lost multiple managers, you've spent a lot of money on young players that aren't ready yet. Just give them a bit of time. Have a couple of seasons where you rebuild.
And there's nothing wrong with drawing against like the likes of Man City and Liverpool, home or away, because they are that good. Or Arsenal. I mean, if I was a Chelsea fan, I would have been annoyed about the Arsenal one because they were tuning up, they were cruising, and they sort of threw it away themselves. So that would annoy me if I was a Chelsea fan. But you would have never thought at the start of that game that you'd get a point. You would have never thought they would draw against Man City. No one would. So you've got to take them results. It's just when, like we said, like Bill said, and I said last week, and Bill said a minute ago, when they played the worst teams, because they sit back, Chelsea tackle them and they catch them on the break, because that's what these teams are set up to do. It's what the Brentfords, the Fulhams, the Wolves, it's what they want you to do. They want you to attack them. They'll put 10 men behind the ball. They'll use 2 quick wingers and a big striker, and that's exactly what they do. And they'll get a chance, because no one is that good that they can keep everyone out for 90 minutes. I don't care who you are. It'll happen to Man City, it will happen to the Real Madrid. Someone will get a chance against you, at least one good chance in a game. It's just up to you to take that chance, isn't it?
Do you think that, a bit like what you said earlier about Manchester City, do you think that a lot of their fans maybe started supporting Chelsea around 2004 when Abramovich actually bought the club and are just not used to this? Like, he's gone, they've got to rebuild, and Chelsea fans don't really, not ones of that age, don't know what it's like to go through a rebuild where they're not winning things.
1%. 100%. I mean, when I was a kid, Chelsea were no ones. They were a mid-table club. They might pick up an FA Cup now and again. They might win the Community Shield now and again. They were nothing. The year that Abramovich brought Chelsea, they only just finished in the Champions League spot on the last day of the season, pipping Newcastle to a Champions League spot. I remember it. They won. I think they might have played Newcastle actually on the last day and beat them 2-1. And otherwise, they would have been in the UEFA Cup back then. That's how old I am. And so it probably is. A bit of it is probably all these Chelsea fans not used to it, thinking, oh, well, what's going on? Mate, like Bill says, they've got... Mate, if I was a manager, I'd love to have Chelsea's team. I think they've got quality everywhere. I think they've got quality players everywhere. You just got to get them playing. And that is one of the hardest things in football. And it ain't going to be no good changing your manager after every 15 games. It's not working. Sack him. Pochettino, as much as I don't like to say it, is a fantastic manager.
Yeah, he is.
I think he's the right guy for the job. And like you say, we just said it about Kompany. Who do you replace him with? Who's out there that you could get to replace him with right now? That is sort of his level. What, go back to Conte maybe? I don't know. He ain't got a job at the moment. But I mean, you can't just keep... Everyone that gets sacked can't just be linked with Conte. Zidane?
I don't really agree that with the fan stuff, that's the statement you said about the fan thing. I think it's a problem within the whole of football. Everyone wants instant results, and if you don't get them, they've spent £1 billion as well. But it's just people in general. Like, we live in this instant world, and they want instant results.
Yeah.
How long before, like you said, Kompany he got promoted last year. How long until the Burnley fans turn on him? Everton, Sean Dyche, how long till they turn on him? There's already been a thing about the Sheffield United manager. The manager's just got him up. He's just got him promoted. You're going to turn on him after 13 games.
Did lose 8-0 though,
chill out. It's going to sound weird because they've just been battered by Newcastle, but there's promise I've seen this season. I mean, they scored 4 against City. Who scored 4 against City?
No one scored 4 against City since Burton did it when they beat him, like in his first season when they beat him 4-1. Do you remember that game? Probably not.
Yeah, yeah, vaguely. Yeah.
I think Tom Davis scored like a really great goal in like the 90th minute.
Yeah,
I think that was the last time they conceded 4 goals, and that was in his first season. He's been there how long? 6 years.
It's not all doom and gloom for them. They've just got to chill the fuck out, let this process happen, and see where you are at the end of the season going into next.
Mate, Arsenal finished 8th 2 years in a row, and it was horrible, and it was awful, and they were losing 10, 12 games. Look at us now. So
how many wanted Arteta gone?
I did.
There was a fair few that all wanted him gone. Imagine if he did.
Yeah, well, it might be better, it might be worse. You don't know. We'll never know. But
yeah,
I said before, if you had Mourinho in charge of that team, I wouldn't want Mourinho, just clearance. Don't want Mourinho. But if Mourinho was in that position last season, does he lose the league in that position?
Probably not.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want Mourinho. I don't like Mourinho.
But everyone just needs to chill out. Like we just live in this weird instant world where everyone wants instant results. Just chill out a bit, and just give him some time.
Fair enough. I'd love to hear what everyone thinks. I'll put that on social media. Chelsea fans being unreasonable, or should we just give the managers time? Because, like you said, they can't just keep sacking them. Because once you've sacked 4 or 5 managers, you're obviously the problem, not the managers. Because they can't all be bad.
You ask Watford that because they sack their managers every other game.
Yeah,
true.
And look where they are now
in Championship.
But I think like Alex Ferguson was up for the sack, wasn't he? In his first or second season at Man United. Yeah, if they lost I think it was like the 4th round or 3rd round of the FA Cup. I think it was Nottingham Forest that they had to play. If they'd lost that, he would have been sacked, and they won 2-1. And look, you've got probably the best manager that's ever managed in the country, the most successful by a mile.
Yep,
give him a chance.
Okay. Before we move on to Sunday's action, a quick word on Kai Havertz for Barron mainly. Scoring his first competitive goal from open play for Arsenal. Also scored for Germany in the break. Barron, do you think we're finally going to see a value for money with Kai Havertz?
Probably not. We're probably going to see a lot more running. We're going to see... I like him. I think he's done okay. He just hasn't scored. And he did. If he scores in the next 3 games in a row, everyone's going to start looking, actually, it's all right. But, I mean, I think the keeper probably should have done better. Did go for his legs.
Fair enough. Billy, you shaking your head?
Need to stop doing as well. We need to stop praising players. Like he's been shit. He scores 1 goal and everyone's like, "Oh, we're going to see Kai Havertz back." He's shit.
To be fair,
he does a lot of running.
I'd say we were. I just asked the question, but
if he's we're too much. Like people have a shit. Zinchenko, this is a big example, right? That clearance off the line, great clearance. It was his fucking fault. And everyone's saying, "Oh, this is amazing! What a clearance! It's your fault."
Yeah, you should be doing that.
Yeah,
I did think that was funny.
So we need to stop praising people for just having one moment in 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Football is a game of moments, though. Like, to be fair, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
If those moments didn't happen, then games change. If that goal goes in, Zinchenko, I know it was his fault, but that's a goal. If Havertz doesn't score that, that's the points dropped.
Yeah, hopefully that gives him a little bit more confidence. Because I think looking at him, because I seen that guy play when he was at Bayer Leverkusen, and he was unbelievable at Bayer Leverkusen. But yeah, he obviously, he scored a Champions League winning goal for Chelsea. He can't be a bad player, and he's not a bad player. We all know he's not a bad player. I just think he's a massive confidence player. So hopefully that will help his confidence.
I do think as a fan base, we are holding on to that Leverkusen form as like a security blanket. Every time it goes wrong, it's like, but he was all right at Leverkusen. I
don't know, because I know a lot of Arsenal fans, obviously, because I'm an Arsenal fan. But especially my group chat, that's got like 40 people in. A lot of them do dislike Havertz, but I actually don't mind him. I think he does win the ball. He wins loads of headers for he does the dirty work that no one else wants to do when he comes on. That's what I will say, and that's why I don't mind him too much. But he does need to be better. There's no for the money.
I think you could have gone and bought a £5 or £10 million player from probably 90% of any other clubs in the Premier League, and they do the same job as he does.
Yeah, you might be right.
We could have gone and bought James Maddison for how much? 30 million they pay for him.
40, I think.
Could have bought Cole Palmer.
But where was
Tillemans?
Again, it wouldn't have happened though, would it? It wouldn't have happened. You can say that, but he wouldn't have played like in that position.
Yeah.
If Maddison joined Arsenal, he wouldn't be playing where he plays for Spurs because that's where Odegaard plays. He would have been playing further deeper. So you can't say he would have done that because he wouldn't have done that. The same with Cole Palmer. Do you know what I mean? You can't say, if Maddison joined Arsenal, he would have done the same thing that he's done for Spurs because he wouldn't be playing in that position because that's Martin Odegaard's position.
I can't say that, but I can say they are safely better players than Kai Havertz is.
Okay. And I wouldn't on form, I wouldn't disagree.
Let's move on
I would not
to
disagree.
Let's move on to Sunday's games. On Sunday, Aston Villa beat Spurs. Spurs being only the fifth team in history to lose 3 consecutive Premier League games after going in front. The other teams were Blackburn in 2007, Sunderland in 2011, Wigan in 2012, and Leicester in 2014.
Make sure you got that in, didn't he, Bill?
I didn't see you mentioning the Man City records.
I probably guess I forgot it.
Yeah, I thought you might.
What has gone wrong at Tottenham? Like, has anything gone wrong? Are they just unlucky? Are they just having a bad run? Is it just
it's injuries?
It's in. Do you know what? I won't. So I was chatting to someone on Sunday about it, and they were like, "Oh, look at our injury and suspended." First of all, you can't blame suspensions because that's your own fault. If you get sent off in a game and you're missing 3 games, don't blame like something for that. They have had a lot of injuries. I mean, if Romero was playing, it'd probably be a bit of a different story because they've had one of their key centre backs. I mean, that Van der Ven, I think, is a massive loss. But, like...
Huge.
When I was looking at the team that they started, like, especially this weekend, it was very different to the teams he's been playing. Like, and I think it's just it shows with Spurs, they've got a very good starting 11. They ain't got much off the bench.
Yeah,
and I said
100%.
I said this, didn't I? I said this 3 weeks ago on this show. Their next 6 games, this is before the Chelsea game. Their next 6 games are very hard games. It'd be interesting to see how they play. If they get 4 out of 6 wins, I reckon they're in a title charge. Mate, it's gone completely pear-shaped for a minute.
3 losses.
3 losses in a row. They've got Man City the weekend. Can't see them beating Man. Well, do you know what? I can see them beating Man City because they do play well against Man City. But I'm not sure if they've got Romero back. I think they might have Romero back for that game. So that will help them. But Maddison was a key player for them. That Van der Ven was unbelievable for them as well. And they've taken both of them out. Because I think if you look at some of the other injuries, I don't think they're not that bad, are they? Richarlison. I mean, what did that guy do for the club? Not a lot. So I don't think they're missing him that bad.
I think, when we said about Man United the other day and was, I think Hughes did you read a tweet or something about their injuries? And then we named a load of players that could fit in that position. Yeah. Like Baron, 100% agree. They haven't got the squad depth. So when they do get a Maddison, Romero, Van der Ven, Richarlison, who does work his arse off, and he'll make space for the others.
It's unfortunate for them, but this is why you buy squad games. Or build a squad.
That Salomon, who looked good, he's out, isn't he? But he's out injured. They have to play that Brian Hill, whatever his name is. Bentancur is only just coming back.
He's injured as well.
He went off again, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did Basuma and Sarr play? Both suspended.
But that's their fault.
Suspensions are their fault. Yeah, 100%.
I'm not having someone come here and tell me that, we've got loads of injuries and suspensions, mate. Your own fault. You've been put too many times, been sent off. End of. You can't moan at having suspensions for the reason why you're losing games.
And you can't really blame injuries because you should have the squad depth, but they haven't got.
It's just
not got that.
Unfortunate for them that Richarlison was injured anyway, but they lost Romero for his own stupidity, Van der Ven, which is a massive loss for them, and Maddison in one game. Because if they didn't lose them all in one game, they lost them. If they lost one and then 3 weeks later lost another one, and then 3 weeks later lost another one, by the time 6 weeks has gone by, then the next one's back, isn't it?
It's not like they've lost 4. Players that they've lost 4 key players.
Yeah.
Like their spine of the team has just gone.
Yeah, they've lost 2 centre backs, which, just to be honest, Eric Dyer and whoever else they've got at centre back aren't the same. I mean, Eric Dyer didn't
play centre back.
Yeah, well, Eric Dyer was on the bench. I couldn't believe he was on the bench. I would have thought surely you play him over Emerson Royale at centre half.
Because I saw Royale on the team sheet, but then I saw Porro. I was like, They fucking playing Emerson Royal at centre back.
And you say about that Brian Gill or whatever his name is, Brian Gill. They spent like 30 million on him. He should be a good player. He's been with them.
Ange didn't know, did he? I don't think you can blame him for that.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they spent 30 million on him. Like, these are good players. Like, these are expensive players. They should have a squad.
Yeah,
100%.
I've got no sympathy with them at all. Yeah, that might be a surprise. But
Yeah, that's a massive shock.
You don't have sympathy.
I've got no sympathy for them. Yeah, I've got no sympathy for them. I said this 3-4 weeks ago. Yes, see how they get on in their next 6 games because they're hard games. And a few Spurs fans laughed at me. And, well, I think who's got the last laugh now? Because I can't see you getting a result against City. I mean, I'd love the game to be a draw. But I can't even see that.
On the flip side of that, though, how good are Villa? Like, where are they going to finish the season? Because they are putting results out. Like, they're in are they top 4 now? Top 4, 5th?
Yeah. They're 2 points behind Arsenal. Whether that puts them in the top 4, I'm not 100% sure. But
the problem is
squad depth.
They get a couple of. If Pau Torres, who looks at Animal, after that first game, when we was all going fucking hell, they bought a dad here. What a player! If he gets injured, who they got? This Courtney House, is it? Or his name is? They got him to come in.
If Watkins gets injured, that's going to be massive, isn't it? Like, he scored 7 in his last 8. He seems to be hitting everything. Like, everything that he hits goes in. Like, and that Douglas Luiz he's a bubbler.
He is.
Yeah. That's another player. You should have got him when you had the chance.
Massively. He's a player that's like gone from being like a holding midfielder, not really doing a lot, to being like box to box, and he's everywhere. And everything good is going through. Mate, if they lose him, that'll probably be the worst one. Mate, that cross, that free kick, I know it was a free kick, it's a dead ball, and anyone can hit a dead ball.
The pace he put it in from that distance.
That was a world-class, I know it sounds stupid to say it was world-class, but it was world-class.
Yeah,
like the cross and header.
From that distance was unbelievable. That was an unbelievable cross.
Mate, it was just, sometimes when you sit back and you think, wow, how do you defend that? They could have had Romero and that Van de Ven in there. I still think they're scoring that goal.
Position-wise, though, I don't see him getting top 4.
No.
Probably don't see him getting top 6.
No, I don't.
Just because of the squad depth. A couple of injuries, like you said, Watkins goes, who have they got?
Yeah. And that's if no one nicks any of their players in January.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
I'd like them. It'd be nice if a different team got into the top 4, but I don't see it.
I just think, and I think the other teams are too strong, like the Arsenals, City, Liverpool. I think they're going to be your top 3, aren't they? United have got a good win at the weekend. Is that going to spur them on? Yeah. Newcastle. I still fancy Newcastle for the top 4. I still do.
Yeah, Man United having this terrible season. They're only 4 points away from Villa, so
and they've just won 4 in a row, haven't they? Or is it 5 in a row? It might be.
Yeah.
Well, that moves us nicely on to United. So on Sunday afternoon, at about 32 minutes past 4, Garnacho pops up with one of the best goals I've ever seen in my life. In terms of overhead kicks, people have been comparing it on social media to Bale, to Rooney, to Ronaldo, even like Philip Mexis. Where do you rate that overhead kick in terms of the ones that have been scored?
I think Bale's was better. Personally. Champions League final as well.
Okay.
I thought about this, right? I think I was caught up in the moment yesterday when I said it was the best overhead kick I've ever seen. I was in the moment. I was like, fucking hell, what a goal. That's the best I've seen. It's not. It's fucking unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
You got to take moments into consideration. Like Baron said, the Bale one, Champions League final. The Ronaldo one against Juventus.
Yeah, that was amazing. I know even that Philip Becks' one. He's a centre-back. What?
Yeah, he's a defender and he's pulled
He's
out.
a centre-back doing that from 20 yards out.
So, Ibrahimovic against Sweden. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
99% of the people don't even try that.
Against Sweden, against England.
Against England, yeah.
Which was against Sweden.
I'll get myself rolled up.
But yeah, no one tries that Ibrahimovic one. No one tries that.
No. Apart from him, no one.
I mean, the Wayne Rooney one was good, but it comes off his shin, doesn't it? So you could probably argue that Garnacho one was better than his one. But I mean, I was chatting about it at work, and as much as it was an unbelievable goal, like, was it a bit lucky? Or
no, he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, but I know he knows what he's doing.
So far behind him as well. it'd be the goal of the season without a doubt.
It would
But
be Puskas
After
as
thinking
well.
about it,
Yeah.
Yeah, that made me laugh. Like my Facebook last night, like or during the game, was kicking off, mate. All the Man United, because I've got a lot of Man United fans on Facebook. Going, give us the Puskas Award now. And I was thinking, this is how far this Man United team has gone. Like celebrating the Puskas Award. You know, they used to win Champions Leagues. They used to win Premier Leagues. Give us the Puskas Award. It's done. It's done. Yeah, all right, mate. Well done.
To be fair, we were like that when Giroud scored that scorpion kick. So I'm
I don't think
not
I ever said give us the Puskas Award. I said it's a great goal.
Not you, but a lot of the fan base was. A lot of the fan base was proper raving over that goal for weeks.
The mighty have fallen. Do you know what I mean? How the mighty have fallen.
Did you watch the match of the day too? When they was talking about they went through Elise's goal. They went through the clip of the first match of the day where they said Elise's just scored like the goal of the season or whatever.
It was a good goal, to be fair.
On the second one, there was like, now he hasn't even scored the goal of the week.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, isn't it?
See, I actually don't really agree. Like, I think the way I look at it as I don't look at the moment. I know I get what you're saying that you should. I just look at the technique and how good the goal was. And for me,
do you think that's
I'm not sure
the Bale one then?
I'm not sure about. I'll have to go back and watch the Nexus one again because it's been so long since I've seen that. But it's definitely better than Rooney for me. It's better than Ronaldo. Yeah. It's close with Bale, but just because it was behind him and it was because it wasn't centre of the goal, right? It was like almost edge of the box. He managed to get it in the other corner. Like, it's the only place he was going to score that goal was by putting it in that corner because he was so far out as well. I think technically that was a better strike than definitely Rooney and Ronaldo for me.
If a bigger goal,
agree with the Rooney one.
Pickford.
He should have got that.
If it's Quartar in goal, does he get to it because he's an extra foot taller? We'll never know.
No, I agree it's better than the Rooney. I agree it's better than Rooney's. I don't think it's better than Ronaldo's or Ibrahimovic's or Bale's.
I'm trying to think of other ones now, but I can't really think of any. I don't know about
the Trevor Sinclair one when he played for QPR. You've seen that?
Yeah, I have.
Go and have a look at that.
I mean, the Philip Becks one, I don't think it's technically as good as Garnacho one, but I like it more because it was a centre back and he did it from outside his own box. But he takes it off the chest, doesn't he, and then does it. Is that right? Am I making that up? Yeah. So technically, the Garnacho one is better because he's doing it in the air. But
is it though? Because that's just a hit and hope, isn't it? Let's be honest.
You just told me he meant to do it. Now you're telling me it's a hit and hope.
I didn't say he meant to do it. I say he meant to obviously get it on target, and he's gone for what he didn't mean to bang it in the top corner.
Right, but he's flipped it, isn't he?
Yeah, he's meant to bang it. He's not meant to bang it in the top corner, no. But
it's probably
you've got time,
so he doesn't look like a mug.
It's an instinct one, isn't it? Like the Rooney.
Yeah.
When Philip Mexis comes over and he actually controls it, and he's like, he's got that thinking
I'm
time.
Go for it now.
Still popped it in the thing.
Yeah, I do like the Mexis one, and because it was a centre back, I just think that is. But for me, I think the Bale one's the best one.
So you're going Bale. Which one are you going? Which one are you going for the best?
I'm still stuck because, like this Latin one, nobody else on the planet even tries that.
Yeah, but that was in a friendly, and no one cares.
No, no one even tries it.
Yeah, take the moment away. Okay, so you think Zlatan technically was probably the best.
I'm still going to go with the Bale one. Yeah, I'm going to go with
Ronaldo's. I'm going Ronaldo's against Juventus.
Okay,
yeah,
that was good.
I'm going to go with the Garnacho one. I think that was the best one. So we'll put it on social media. They're the three we've gone for. Let's see how many people
pick which one.
We'll have a vote. Yeah, we'll see which one.
Put that Philip Mexis one in there as well because I want to see it as well.
Yeah, all right. We'll put the Philip Mexis. Well, any overhead kick
that one in as well.
As long as it's not Sunday League, any overhead kick that there's actual footage of.
I've played loads of Sunday League football. I've never seen anyone do that.
I think they'd throw up with all the drink from the night before if they tried that.
I've seen people attempt it.
Fall over. But talking about Man United, and Billy brought it up a little while ago about them having this terrible season, but they're only 4 points off of or 2 points off of Villa. So 4 points off of Villa. I've never seen a team win 3-0 and look so unconvincing in my life. You look at that result, and the goals were decent.
They were lucky though, weren't they? They were lucky. I say lucky. That's probably the harsh. They scored an absolute worldie, didn't they? They scored a penalty, and I must admit I haven't seen the third goal. But
good finish, Martial.
Was it? Yeah. So because I was watching it a minute ago, but so I think you could argue they got a bit lucky, didn't they? I mean, I thought it was a penalty. I know everyone keeps saying it was hard, it was soft, but I've seen it, and he does clip him.
Yeah, he does.
Therefore, it's a penalty. So I don't know why they think it's a soft penalty. He clips him. What more do you want?
They booked him for diving originally, didn't they?
Oh yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I think you've been a bit harsh. I think you've been a bit harsh there. I thought there was Everton had chances, but there was always going to. At that moment, they just had 10 points deducted, loads of noise, going to be bang up for it, and they went out there and done the job, didn't they? Clean sheet, 3 goals. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good result, a really good result. And people will argue that's probably the perfect away performance. They've gone away from home, a hostile ground, and come away scoring 3 goals, not conceding any.
Yeah, not many people will probably go to Everton and win 3-0, will they?
I don't see it as an unconvincing 3-0 win. No, they won 3-0 and could have got a couple more.
Yeah, I feel like Everton could have got a couple as well, but they just didn't. They weren't clinical enough. I don't know. I just didn't think it was particularly convincing. Talking of United, though, I've got one more social media post to read out, and this is one's about Mason Greenwood. I think we touched on it in a private conversation before we went on air, but this is an unpopular opinion. I want to get your opinions on this. So, an extremely unpopular opinion, but I'm sure with the way he's performing, Mason Greenwood will end up at Real Madrid for peanuts, and then the UK media will adore him again. It's the hatred for United is why the UK media was so up in arms about him playing for them. What do you think about Mason Greenwood?
One of the most,
Yeah,
I think that statement is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. So we're saying now it's because he plays for Man United.
Yeah. That's why he's getting all the
bellends.
I think you'll find that the reason why they hated him is because he beat up his own girlfriend.
And
I think do you know what I mean? Like, whether he was found guilty or not guilty, everyone knows he did it. And someone brought on it earlier. Do we think we'd ever see him in an England shirt again? I think if he plays well, you might do, but I don't think you'll see it in 5 years.
And I don't think he'll ever play for Madrid or a
Never.
massive club. It's because it's business. Will he turn up at like a lower league, Premier League club? 100%, 100%. We'll see him. Back
He's only got a year left on his contract, so it wouldn't surprise. Oh no, he's got 2 years left on his contract, a year after this year. And when he went to Getafe, a lot of on Talk Sport was saying that this is basically how Man United are going to make the money back on him, because he'll never play for Man United again. But then again, if he smashes 30 goals in La Liga, he might do. You never know. But apparently they're hoping that he'll have a good season and they'll be able to get 15, 20 million for him. Because at the moment, he's worth nothing to him, is he? Because no one's going to touch him this season. No one is going to buy him.
No. But that statement is just mad. That's Man United. It's just because it's Man United.
Not so they hate Mason Greenwood. No, I think the reason why a lot of people hate Mason Greenwood is because he beat his own girlfriend up. And last time I checked, that's not really...
That's not okay.
I've got a question for you. He's not going to end up at Arsenal because, like I say, it's too much of a big club. It's too much of a big business. But if he did score 30 goals at Getafe this season, next season scored 20 or 30 wherever he went, you're still struggling for a striker. Do you have a punt? Because he's a fucking good player. There's no doubt about that.
Well, I don't know.
I'll take him now.
I probably would, because I think everyone deserves second chances. So I probably, if he did score 20 goals this season, went somewhere else, scored another 20 goals, and he was cheap, I probably would give him a go. You know, that's my opinion on it. Because
Andrew,
I don't think. I mean, I would probably take him as well, but I don't think we will. I think if he comes back to the Premier League, Newcastle will be the team because. I mean, let's face it, that their owners probably don't care.
What's that about Northerners, mate?
No, I'm talking about the Saudis.
Oh, right.
Not the Northerners.
Don't start saying them off.
No. The Saudis will probably take him at Newcastle. Let's talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, before we get onto the debate, I don't know if you heard this, but did you hear that Alexander-Arnold is maybe being punished by the FA for his celebration after scoring against Man City?
Yeah, that's
what a load
pathetic.
of crap.
Yeah.
What a load of crap.
Yeah, that's pathetic. I like a bit of that. Do you know what I mean? I don't mind. I think that's good. Bit of banner.
Ramsdale let me down actually at the weekend because he didn't fucking give it some, did he? He normally does.
Yeah.
And I thought they'd give you stick all game. Just fucking go and have it now. And he didn't. He disappointed me. I like all that. I love it. They're giving him shit. He scored. Yeah, why not?
So, I mean, they were probably screaming at him all game. and then he banged it, and it was a great goal. That touch and shot was unbelievable. Like, I think maybe Edison might have been could have maybe done a little bit better, but I mean, it was probably past him, before he even moved. Like, it's all about that first touch.
If we really start punishing players for that, then the game is actually gone.
I mean, I think it's absolute bollocks that you get a yellow card for taking your top off.
Yeah.
Why did that even become a rule?
I think it's nipples. I actually do.
Is it because the women can't do it, so we can't let the men do it? I mean, I'll be all right with the women doing it.
I'm all up for that as well.
I'm all right with it.
Darren revolutionising the game.
Let's do it.
Did you see the still image though of Trent doing obviously the shush celebration and that little kid in the front row with his middle fingers up? He must have been about 4 years old. Like, that's what football's all about.
Yeah, have it both ways.
Yeah, I love it.
I'd be so proud of that if that was my son.
Yeah, he'll have that picture forever now. Talking of Trent, let's get on to this debate then, because I don't think we all agree here. So we put a post out last week on social media discussing Gary Neville's statement that Trent Alexander-Arnold is as good at passing the football as David Beckham or Kevin De Bruyne. So we got mixed responses when we put this online from a certain fan base. You know who you are. And Baron, you don't agree either, do you? You think that he is as good?
I think he's up there. Maybe he ain't as good, but I definitely think he's up. I mean, I don't think anyone would argue with a dead ball or just a pass of the ball. He is unbelievable. I mean, I think me and Bill got quite into a deep conversation about this, like yesterday or whenever it was. But I do honestly think he's up there with the greatest in the Premier League with his passing. The problem with me is the rest of his game's not good enough. That's why he wouldn't be in my
Yeah, but we're not. I know we're talking about Premier League because we're saying David Beckham, De Bruyne. Yeah. For me, right, there is no one I've ever seen that can pass a ball like David Beckham can. So we're not just putting him up with Premier League players. We're putting him up with the very best.
I think, though. Yeah, but you put De Bruyne with David Beckham, wouldn't you? No?
It's different. In short range, De Bruyne is probably the best I've seen.
Oh, mate. You got to get off. You got to get off your David Beckham hype. You got to get off. David Beckham was an unbelievable player, great player. I'm not deploying that, but there are better players than David Beckham in the world.
Yeah, I'll get better players. I've never seen a better passer with the ball than David Beckham.
Oh, I think there's been some good ones.
100%.
Yeah.
Short range, De Bruyne probably is better. Like the way you see a pass that no one else see, and his brain is much more.
Mesut Ozil was in his prime Madrid days. He was probably the best passer in the world. He was up there with David Beckham, definitely. Prime Ozil, 100%. When he was winning World Cups with Germany and that.
So Trent's as good then. Trent's as good as
Trent. I think Trent Alexander-Arnold's passing is up there with the best in the Premier League.
Yeah, but we're not talking about Premier League. We're talking about the best passers of all time here.
All time. I'll go, because I think he is good. I think it's unbelievable, some of his parts. You go get a highlights reel of it. I know it's like highlights reel, so it's going to be his best moments. But mate, some of the, like that cross, for example, when they got the equaliser against Barcelona, or when they were 3-0 down and it was at Anfield, and mate, the perfect pinpoint.
No one reacted.
It doesn't matter. How many times have you taken a dead ball kick and haven't even beat the first man? I think he's up there.
I'm not saying I'm up there with David Beckham, though. That's the difference.
No, but I'm not saying you are. But what I'm saying is, like, he could have easily fluffed that, couldn't he? Even the passing at the weekend, some of his passing at the weekend was unbelievable.
I just think he's just mad. Just mad.
I think he's anywhere near. He's the best right back at passing the football that the world has ever seen. Like, I will go with that.
That is such a poor comment.
I also wouldn't put him up there with Beckham. He's good for a right back. He's not on a level of.
He's good for a right back.
Yeah, he's good for a right back.
Okay.
Passing the ball.
All right.
See, my thing is, I'm not saying he's not a world class passer of the ball. He is. There's no doubt about that. He's unbelievable with the ball. I just can't put him up there with the best passers in the world.
How do you get into that category? Is that right? Do you understand what I mean? How do you get to that?
It's not just a couple of years either, is it? David Beckham constantly over his career. De Bruyne has done it 100 assists.
How old is Trent now? I don't know how old Trent is now. Would you not say he's been doing it for the last 5 years?
No, someone said this on fucking TikTok. They was like, but he's only 24. What's Beckham done at 24? He's just winning trebles, mate. That's all. I mean, if you're gonna fucking David Beckham at 24 was a much better passer than Trent is now, without any doubt whatsoever.
I
He
don't
can
know
put it
if I
anywhere
agree.
you want it.
I think Trent could put it anywhere you want it.
Mm.
I mean, it hurts me to say it because I don't want to be agreeing with Liverpool fans, but I actually honestly think he's probably one of the best. He's definitely one of the best in the Premier League, and I don't see why you wouldn't put him up there in the probably top. Well, I don't know about top 10 maybe because there've been some outrageous players, but he is definitely up there. I think with them all.
Up there of all time.
Yeah, he's up there. He's one of the best passers in the Premier League, which, in my opinion, makes him one of the best of all time. Yes.
Ronaldinho, Beckham,
Yeah,
Pirlo,
he's up
De
there.
Bruyne.
Yeah,
He's up there with them.
I would say so. Like with his ball passing, yeah. But the problem is, his rest of his play isn't as good, so he's never going to be in that class of David Beckham or De Bruyne because I don't think he's as good as them. But just on passing wise, I think he's up there.
I think you've had too much to drink in your life.
Well, we'll go back.
Your brain marriage.
We'll go back to social media with that one then and see what people think. But yeah, very mixed responses we've had from that one. We're going to end today's episode with the story in the week that the Premier League voted against banning associated clubs such as Newcastle and Saudi League clubs and clubs such as Nottingham Forest and Olympiacos, who are owned by the same people, from completing loan deals between each other. This means, for example, that Ruben Neves, who is playing in Saudi, would be able to join Newcastle on loan in the Saudi off-season in January. So the Premier League teams voted on whether to ban this or not. They needed 14 votes to ban this from happening, but only received 13. The clubs that voted against the ban were Newcastle, Chelsea, Man City, Sheffield United, Nottingham Forest, Everton and Wolves. Is this a good thing for the Premier League or not? Like, does this have a massive effect on what's going to happen in the future? Baron?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be surprised. I was surprised it didn't get banned because I would have thought more teams would have wanted it stopped because it is an unfair advantage. But I don't think you can stop people loaning players to each other. If at the end of the day, they own the club, they can do what they want, can't they? I don't agree with banning people from loaning players, personally. So I'm glad it didn't happen. But I can see why people wouldn't want it to happen because, like, Newcastle could literally loan the whole of the Saudi League if they wanted to, couldn't they?
Yeah.
But you got to remember, they can still only play like four loan players at a time.
I think it's a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
And if you are Nottingham Forest and you are, a point from the thing, and you are taking a player from Olympiacos, I don't know who Olympiacos have got, but say they get a striker in from Olympiacos who's been banging in 30 goals a season, and they just go, quick, loan him to Forest. He scores 5 or 6 goals or whatever, keeps them up.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's only what people do in business, isn't it?
Yeah, but the problem is it encouraging more of this? Is it encouraging people to come over from, let's say, America or these rich countries, these oil countries, and saying, right, I'm going to buy a team in England, a team in France, a team in America, a team, 3 or 4 teams, have like a consortium, like City.
That's what Man City have done. Yeah, that's what Man City.
Is it encouraging more teams?
I don't have a problem with it personally. It doesn't bother me. I mean, yeah, like I say, you can only loan a certain amount of players, or you can only have a certain amount of players in your matchday squad that are loaned. I think it's 5, and I think you can only. So, I mean, yeah, I think
the way it used to be is you used to have feeder clubs, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, Sunderland's is like South Shields, just for example. So that's the only one I can think of. So our younger players will go to South Shields for a season. They'll develop, blah blah blah, and they'll come back, hopefully a better player with some experience. I don't think you can own 2 clubs and go Newcastle. You've got Ruben Neves for the next 6 months. Enjoy.
Like David Beckham went to LA Galaxy. He didn't really like it, and then he got loans to AC Milan, didn't he? And people like that. So, I mean, what's the difference of that? I know they weren't owned by the same club, but he still got his moves. I don't really see a problem with it, personally.
Because AC Milan will be paying his wages, where LA Galaxy wouldn't have been paying his loan wages.
Well,
this
I mean,
same guy is going to be paying his wages.
Yeah, but I think as long as it's above board, I don't see a problem with it, personally. But I was surprised that it didn't get barred or banned. Sorry.
Yeah, well, the other teams would have been a bit more.
They all have franchises.
I mean, obviously,
or most of them do.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why Arsenal didn't want it because they probably thought, well, we don't want. But I mean, realistically, who's City going to nick out of there? City are the best, didn't they, in the City group?
Yeah.
So they're not going to. It's literally only Newcastle, and like you say, maybe Nottingham Forest that are going to benefit out of this.
So why didn't those other teams then vote to ban it? That's what I don't get. Like, if it's not going to benefit them,
I don't understand. And you've got to remember, these players are still going to have to agree to go. I mean, why would Ruben Neves want to go to Newcastle when he can get paid all that money and not work?
That's the thing, though, isn't it? They're not going to have to agree. He
and
owns them. He owns Ruben Neves.
He could still turn around and go, no.
It will get fucked off then, wouldn't he?
Well, it won't bother him. He'll go leave them, wouldn't he? But
and he'll leave all his Saudi wages. That's what I mean. It's not like, oh, look, we'll agree this loan deal with you. Do you agree? No, he's just going to go, you're playing for Newcastle for 6 months. And he's going to go, yes, sir, thank you for the money, sir.
Well, I would, but yeah.
Yes, so would I.
So would I, yeah.
As well, but
it's not a problem with the
players.
players.
Of interest.
Yeah. I just feel like it's franchising. It's moving.
It's only a problem when they start playing each other. That's when I think it becomes a problem.
Well, did you hear, just going off topic, with the Nice and the Man United thing, if this Radcliffe gets in, so if Man United finished, so say Nice, because he owns Nice and he'd own Man United. If they both qualify for the Champions League or the Europa League or whatever, the team that finished highest would be the one. The other team would not be allowed to enter the competition. So if Nice finished third, Man United finished fourth, they would be kicked out of all. They wouldn't be allowed to compete in any European competitions.
Yeah, because wasn't it the PSG owners were at one point looking at like buying United or something, and they said the same thing there. That's the only problem I've got. Like, so if that La Liga team at the top of the league at the moment, or second in the league, they are owned by Man City. So is that the same? Can they not be in the Champions League next year then?
It would be the same. It would be overfinished. So they could win the league. City finish second. City wouldn't be in the Champions League next year because they're owned by the same owners.
Yeah.
But what if City won the Champions League, finished second, and they're still not allowed in it, even though they won it?
No, because they won it, they probably would be put in it, wouldn't they? Because they've won it.
So then the other team gets kicked out, even though they win the league.
Yeah. To be fair, they probably changed the rules because that's what they love doing, didn't they?
Be interesting to see if this Radcliffe does buy him though, and then like that, because I think Nice are first at the moment or second.
That PSG definitely
first.
Yeah, PSG definitely top because I saw it earlier.
Was it? It might be second then. But it'd be interesting to see if he does buy it, and then like United finish like third or fourth. Well, or anywhere up to seventh, they wouldn't be in any European competition. They can't even join the Europa League, Conference League.
Funny. Well, thanks for listening again. I thoroughly enjoyed myself, actually. I thought that was a really good episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I say, hit us up on the socials if you need or want to argue with it. I mean, is Trent a great baller? Is he not? I want to know the overhead kicks one. You know, is Kai Havertz back?
He was never back.
Yeah. Can we get some decent tweets as well? Can't be asked, keep going, this fan knows nothing. We need something decent to talk about. Thanks for listening. Hope you tune in next week. Here we go again.